politically street, man. That's one of the coldest names you can have. Because we out here in these streets, but these politics is trickling down, so it's all intertwined, man. So we got to figure out how to work it the way we work. So shout out to politically street.
Take the episode of Politically Street. I have none other than my good friend of mine, Pop Darby. What's going on, man? Thanks for coming out and blessing the rest of my podcast with your presence, man.
I got to. I feel like tasking.
Just a little bit of history. Pop and I, we met at a shop in Third Ward, and it was vicariously through a friend of ours. Shout out to Will, and we were sitting down talking about politics, you know. And so I didn't know back then that Pop would throw his name in the hat too, but you know, you know. But we kept going to each other in certain capacities and whatnot, man. And so I didn't know I didn't know the dynamics of what you were about. You know what I'm saying? Just about from surface level, you know what I mean? And so when I started listening to you and hearing your message, man, I said, you know what? This is what I want to associate myself with. Because to me, you know, my campaign slogan when I ran was unity, building a community through unity. You know what I mean? So, and then you have an app called Unity as well. So I was like, you know what? Hey, let's get it, man. So, like I said, y'all, please welcome Mr. Pop Darby to my show podcast, man. So, Pop, tell me what's going on. What you got going on these days, man?
I would say the same old, but you know, new things happen every day. 1,700 millionaires are created a day, so I'm kind of working towards literally optimizing my human experience so it can last for generations. When I was like 6, my great grandmother died. She was 100% Native American, and she taught us like, whatever you do, it has to last for the next 7 generations. So that I kind of been focusing on that. It's like I've been getting reminded of that to make sure that everything I'm doing gonna last generations. So even more than passive income, we've been trying to make passive impact, and it's really more than one way to do it, because we used to do it just by throwing events, you know, giving out money, but really not being personal enough for people, like actually getting their stories, getting to know who you're talking to, and staying in contact with them. It's like you can't just do something and then go disappear. You got to keep going.
That's right. That's right. I agree.
So that's what we've been on, actually trying to build these new relationships and foster them.
So let me ask you a quick question. Where did you grow up in? I can ask you that. What side of town?
I'm from the south side neighborhood, out Hillwood. That's from where Southport, Mexico is from.
Gotcha.
I hub Hillwood, Texas, out Blackson, Southport, Mexico.
Gotcha. So did you grow up in a single parent household?
Single parent household. My mom actually was. She graduated high school early. She from Cloverland, which is next door to Hillwood. She went to the same middle school I went to, Wilson Middle School. Same high school I graduated from, Worthing High School. Same college I went to, Prairie.
You know.
Yeah, you know. So she graduated high school early, graduated college early, and got a master's early, all by the age of like 22. And what happened was, you know, everybody gets like fiscally responsible at a certain age. She had me later on in her life. I believe I know she was in her 30s. I can't even put a year on it right now. But after I was in 3rd grade, we had a pretty regular life, and then she got cancer and had a respiratory problem. So she went from being like the head person, doing the accounting at the post office, to being on disability. So if anybody knows disability, that's like it's hard to survive on disability, especially when you come from having a good job.
Right.
So you know, my life kind of made a drastic change, and that kind of made me focus more on how we could grow economically without having to be dependent on a job. Because my whole life I saw somebody that, I ain't gonna say she did everything right, but she did what she was supposed to do, and her health is what ended up taking her off course.
Right.
And you know, once your health go, once your health fade, it never really come back the way it's supposed to be, especially with cancer and being a patient and breast cancer survivor and having respiratory illness. You can't go back to work, and then you become dependent upon whoever's taking care of you. So it made me be like, look, when we got the internet, I remember like dial-up internet, AOL, where you can't get the phone.
Right.
I remember back then it was like we used to try to burn CDs off LimeWire and Napster, and that'd crash the computer, but we was burning them so we could go sell mixtapes. And since then, I was like, man, this internet gonna make some money, and it didn't let me down.
Gotcha. Now, I actually, I just saw you were on a show with Brother Keelan, and when you told your story about your mom, it sounded similar to mine. I mean, as far as single parent household, mom had breast cancer, things like that. So I was like, you know what? That's kind of, I guess, how we should. I don't know what it is anyway. So, but yeah, man. But with the internet, man. So you created an app called UNT as well.
Yeah.
You know, can you explain to us about what UNT as well did?
Alright, so just to tell like the preface before even creating the app, I went to Prairie View for mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And I always have been STEM related. So even after school, I was doing logistics for companies, not FedEx, but side contractors for FedEx.
Okay.
My partner had a company called AAA Deliveries, and I was doing logistics. Sometimes I'd be a delivery driver. And when I'm looking at low-income neighborhoods, like mine is 77047, we got 77021, which is like Yellowstone, and we got 77004, which is Third Ward.
Mm-hmm.
All these neighborhoods are spending $100,000 to $300,000 a month. And I'm only looking at FedEx. I ain't looking at United States Postal Service, or UPS, or Amazon, or what they actually buying. This is just in shipment. So I'm like, man, if all these people can spend, if I can be in a neighborhood full of poor people, but they spending $100,000 a month, imagine if somebody had a fund for these people to be able to have access to capital and train them with the business acumen that they needed to be able to create something to generate wealth. I went around looking for it, and I couldn't find it, and I didn't even think it was my responsibility to create it. So it's a book called Powernomics. I read Powernomics from Dr. Paul Anderson. It talks about the equation for Black America to actually redistribute their own reparations. And what he said was, it was 2016, I believe he did the numbers, was our spending power was 1.1 trillion, and we have 43 million Black people in America. And he said in 2 years, if we spend 1/3 of our money together, all Black families would be millionaires.
Wow.
So I'm like, let me check this math.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
So in my mind, I say, man, let me create a formula so that if Black people follow the formula to create our own system, because, you know, when you get to a point of understanding, you realize this system isn't built for us. And we're not even going to talk about like racism and white supremacy. It's an actual system.
Right, right.
And it works 24 hours a day, from policing to hospitals to schools to the businesses in our neighborhoods to the actual racism that we see. So we need a system. So I'm like, all right, what would be a formula so that we use the same way that they use taxes to say that they're going to pay off officials? How could we do that to create our own Black tax? And the formula ended up being that if we had like, let's say 5,000 people in every neighborhood, most neighborhoods have around 18,000 houses. I'm going to use Sunnyside for example.
Okay.
44,000 people. And this is like minimum, especially in cities like Houston. So we got Sunnyside, we got Third Ward, we got Acres Homes and all these other Fifth Ward and all these places with like huge populations of Black people, well over 5,000 homes. So like if every home had, if 5,000 of those homes put up $20 a month and had training that they could go to weekly, they would not only have $100,000 in capital that they would have access to, they would also be able to give it to each other, create their own businesses, and spend together. Because once you got an internal network of 5,000 people, shit, now if I got a t-shirt and I got 5,000 people that's going to buy it in my hood, I can create 100,000 every day. You know what I'm saying? And all I got to do is create products and make it circulate. And if I do that once, I can literally in a month make my pay for the year. Now I just gotta have to understand how to do it. And you know, everybody else come in, well, we have credit specialists and lawyers and politicians and everything else. So I looked at that formula and I was like, man, what can we do? Because I couldn't find nothing else. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna just create an app and just start giving away free game and making donations. So first I made it to where people was donating $20 a month, and I have like a free class that I'm inviting everybody to. And with the app, since the app started to have expenses, I realized, all right, we can't make everything free. We gotta create some profit in here. We gotta pay some employees. I can't overwork myself. I gotta pay people to start teaching, so it won't just be me. I made it to where it's a membership-based recurring revenue engine that if you're a member, you get these courses and you have access to microfinancing. So, yeah, microfinancing was invented by the dude named Muhammad Yunus in Bangladesh, and it wasn't really about currency. It was about, say for instance, if I'm looking at Bangladesh and it's a third world country, we're gonna say, instead of giving them money, I would give them a lawnmower, and they would start a business with that. Instead of giving them money, I would give them a washing machine and a dryer. They could start a business with that. because that way everybody has access to something that they do, and everybody becomes an integral part of the community
Right.
for growth.
Right.
So I just took that and said, man, if they could do that in Bangladesh, imagine what we can do in America
Right.
with the most talented people in the world, black
Right.
people.
Right.
So that was my purpose of creating my app, Unity as well, so that we can actually have our own system to be able to empower people. And then it just turned into a business development app, because that's the way that we can empower each other through becoming financially free. Not because of the money, because the money not having so much stress changed what our focus is on.
I agree. I agree 100%. And I've been following your page for a while, and I noticed a trend between you, yourself, Derek Grace, even Rizza Islam. Everybody's on this movement of pushing us forward on empowering ourselves. So are those guys gonna come down here anytime soon? I see how you going to them. Are you saying something when they come down here?
They come down here at least. I would say Derek was here in December. Keys was here in December.
Okay, like Keys, yeah.
So all right. So what we did was we established a group of people from across the country that was all about not just self-improvement and doing for self, but really black liberation.
Sure.
And it was me, Derek Grace, 19 Keys, Billionaire PA, Red and Blue Pill, Brother Ben X, and our team. We got plenty more people. We got Chris Cole, we got Antoine Digital. It's just people that don't even know are in the mix. But yeah, we meet every day because now we use technology. We got a group chat that we're gonna talk about something every single day, and we always do business together. So I'm about to open up a creative co-working space.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, and Keys and Chris are one of my partners.
Okay.
So it's in Houston, but they're not in Houston, but they're gonna always be here because we want to optimize what we do here, so that we can make this headquarters, because Houston is the energy capital of the world. And
wait, what you mean energy capital of the world? I'm sorry to cut you off. What you mean by that?
Houston is the energy capital of the world, Craig.
I didn't know that.
China had a blackout one time, New York had a blackout one time, and it was because something messed up in Houston.
Oh, wow.
It's the energy capital of the world.
Wow.
The way the sun, physically, because of the power that we have from it, and metaphysically, because of the way that the sun hits this section of the earth. So
that means what I'm seeing is that because even in Cairo, Egypt, I think they're saying Egypt and Texas are kind of on the same.
They're aligned.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. All right. Anyway, you said that this
is literally the energy capital of the world.
Wow.
It's no other place on the planet. There's no other place that produces as much energy as Houston, Texas.
That is great. I didn't know that.
If you look at our NRG array, you know what I'm saying? We got an energy corridor.
Right.
I'm saying it's all about energy.
Wow.
And people don't realize that, especially being a black person from Houston, because we are a big percentage of the population when you're walking around looking at it, but a quarter of the population is not a lot.
Right.
So they say it's the most diverse city in the world, and it's so much wealth that comes through Houston that we don't get to understand how powerful the city really is. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I want you to share your story too. When I was block walking while I was running city council, a lot of people were saying that nobody has knocked on their door or anything like that in a long time, and the people seem so disengaged. You know what I'm saying? So, what were some of your experiences when you ran for city council?
Oh man, I ain't gonna lie. When you hear about when you talk about politics, you have a clear understanding that it's not the people that are actually active in the community. It's the people who are, at least usually, it's the people who come in, come to some event, shake some hands, or they're the most known, they from a prosperous family or a prominent family or something like that. So I was never thinking I was going to run for city council. I had a podcast. And it was a lady, I can't think of her name. She ran for city council. She ran for mayor. Demetrius Smith. And she was I'm asking her, why are you running for that? If you go get some money, you can impact your neighborhood way more than being, or if you're a rapper, you can impact your neighborhood way more than being a politician, because I don't look for liberation in politics or in religion or anything like that. I'm looking for the feasible action steps and people making a difference. So she was it's really nothing. Anybody can run. It ain't it's no amazing feat. Anybody can run for stuff. So she was come with me to City Hall and I'm gonna show you. So me and my partner Murphy, we went down there with her, and she was like, "Look, you see this paper? You sign your name on this paper. You running for something."
Mm-hmm.
And so we both signed our name on the paper. It's like I don't even remember what month this is, but like 3 months later, it was time for people to start running.
Yeah.
So it was a guy named Rashad Cave
Cave.
that ran in my same district D.
Shout out to Cave.
Shout out Rashad Cave. He really bought the community.
Mm-hmm.
So my homeboy OG Scott from the hood, he was like, "I want you to meet somebody." I pulled up to his community center, and it's Rashad Cave. He telling me like he running who I run. He like, Scarface running, like 16 other people, 17 other people. I'm like, all right, cool, we running against, I'll help you. I get to looking at the list. I'm Jeremy Darby. I said, you know who that is? He, nah, that's you, huh? Yeah, that's me. But at this point, I still ain't thinking I'm in the River City Council. I'm like, bro, I still here. Y'all forgot I even did that.
Yeah.
And I had put it on the internet, and I was like, bro, I forgot. Like, I even did that. Shout out to Demetrius Smith.
Right.
And people like, nah, you should go and run.
So let me tell y'all, I was going through the list and seeing people who are running, and I looked at this and said, Jeremy Darby. I said, so I inboxed you. I said, hello, I said, hey, bro, why didn't you tell me you was running, right? So, yeah, that was too funny, man. Yeah.
I ain't know. I really ain't know. This probably like August.
It was August.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The election in November.
Yeah.
So, I just ended up saying I was gonna do it. This is why I said I was gonna do it, because they had it to where I got denied, like, to be on the ballot. And I was like, well, I got denied, so I went and did some research. And it's because when I registered to vote, I registered when I was at Prairie View, and I changed my address, right? And I had voted we voted at Cloverland Park. I had voted at Cloverland Park, so I'm telling them, like, nah, I'm supposed to be registered. And they like, nah, the Secretary of State in Austin got fired because they was messing with people eligibility to vote.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? So I'm like, you know what? I wasn't gonna run, but I'm gonna run down because now I feel like they trying to play me. That I wasn't on the ballot. I was a write-in. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna run because they trying to play me. And then it was like the day before the deadline, so they sent me an email, and my assistant was like, you got an email that say you can't be on the ballot. And I'm like, well, it's like 11 in the morning, I got till 5 o'clock. So they like, I go up there, they tell me, now you can't. The only thing you can do is go get, it's like pay $500 to get a bunch of signatures. So I just went and got them. I'm like, well, I don't think y'all know how many people I really know. So I went and got a bunch of signatures, turned it in before 5 o'clock, and I was a write-in candidate. And as I'm running for city council, I'm just looking at like, even the conversations that we have, and like, nobody is really engaged with politics. Like when I go into all of the debates at churches and parks, ain't nobody there. And the maximum probably was 100, maybe 150 people at one event, mostly elderly, and that was at U of H. So the only thing that was, and a lot of people there are other people running for city council or running for whatever they running for. Or politics, and everybody else just the community that don't care. And then I just turned 30 in September, so I was 29 at the time. No, I was 28 at the time, and nobody was worried about who was running for city council. Even like I was expecting Scarface to be like the standout victor. Like I don't care. Like, bro, first off, this neighborhood don't care, and Malcolm X had this thing called political intelligence. So when I'm the ballot of the bullet was a speech, so I'm looking at neighborhood like, bro, we really don't have the political intelligence to take somebody from our community to put them in a position to actually lead our community to have more. Even if we take somebody from our community that's from the older generation or that been in politics 20 years, we know what they're gonna do because they've been doing it. And we don't have like enough wherewithal to say, man, we just gonna do it ourselves. People really just leave it to whoever they know. And that's why when you look at the percentage of people that vote, it's like 70% of the people was over 55. Like, yeah, I can't even talk to them. So, and I'm not on the ballot. So it's like, it's so many different ways. And then I also got people that was like, I ain't even gonna say they was trying to bribe me, right? They had what they call, I ain't gonna even say the name. I will say some names. So it was the Color Foundation, with Cullings, the last name Cullings, that own Cullings Boulevard,
Okay, gotcha.
the Moody Foundation, and the Bush Foundation, and somebody else that I'll tell you off this camera.
Okay, yeah, what you?
But you know, they was telling me about a plan that was like $300 million they wanted to put in Sunnyside, the 3rd Ward, and that if I would be the face of it, you know, I could keep a percentage of the money.
I remember you telling me
You know
about
what I'm saying?
that.
I keep a percentage of the money, and will make sure I get enough advertisements on TV and everything to actually win. You know what I'm saying? To be seen how I need to be seen for city council. Because raising money ain't no joke. Like, I know how to make money on the internet.
But trying
to raise money to spend for city council people, I ain't like donating for that.
Right.
So I made more money off of I created t-shirts. And when we sold our t-shirts, I made more money off of selling t-shirts than I just had to spend my profit. I probably spent 20 grand for sure.
Right.
Just because, and it was a lot of it was in the last week because I ain't know that so many people had to be like working the polls. But man, the money that they offered me was basically so that they could gentrify neighborhoods and I could be the face of it, but it'll appear like a revolution. And you know, I'm like, bro, y'all really don't know me. I say about the money.
Right.
But that just kind of put something on my mind, like, man, I don't know if I would even do it again. I probably would just because it ain't really nothing to me. But it was just like, man, I can't believe our community is like falling victim. We victims of circumstance because of what we lack. You know, they say it ain't, you judge not by what you know, but by what you don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't complain about something because you don't know it. Your ignorance of the law don't count.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You still go to jail.
Right.
So that just, that's really was my experience running for city council. I'm like, bro, this ain't where it's at. But at the same time, it is because when you're dealing with business, that's why I liked it because when I said this is something that I can benefit from because when you're doing community events with community engagement, all these people want to hit you. You know, every month we do a community cleanup.
Right.
Every week I have some type of program where I go into the school and teach STEM. And then I give away money in the school so I basically pay kids to learn. If they can pay attention and answer my questions, they can do it. Then I go to different classes because it's in social and emotional learning. That's what our spectrum is called in the school system. I'm doing STREAM, which is science, technology, engineering, art, reading, and math, but it's social and emotional learning. That's what I can get paid to do when I go into the school. And that allowed me to say, okay, when I go talk to my pilots who got trucking companies or who got all of these different things going on, I could be the person that's literally signing off all of these government contracts.
And city council.
And city council. And the people that's doing the work, the construction, and the building inside of that district.
Right.
But, the money never goes to people that have businesses in our community. Ever. And them need billions of dollars. So I'm like, bro, something ain't right. We knew what something wasn't right from the beginning.
I was just talking to Felton about that, about positioning ourselves as black people, you know what I'm saying? I don't just say black, but disadvantaged companies to position ourselves to get the money, you know what I mean? And so, but it's a matter of putting our elected officials we put in there to put us on, you know what I mean? But what's happening is you have other political machines that have a little more push than we do, you know what I mean? But to me, the power's always been in the people, man. You know what I mean? But as long as we can figure out how to work together, can't nothing stop us, man. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, too, Soul Food Vegan. Tell me about Soul Food Vegan. I go there a lot. You probably can't tell lately, but.
I've been vegetarian 5 years. I probably weighed the most I ever weighed.
Right.
Even the gym today. But, alright, so what we do is goal is to just meet people. And then whatever they dream is, we want it to come true. So my homeboy really owns Soul Food. That's his restaurant. And we just basically was looking around finding ways so that his dream could come true because he been wanting the restaurant just like 6-7 years in the making.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And even before the spot that's there now, he had like 2 other spots that we got in, cleaned up, was gonna make it our location, and it all fell through just because of business, the way people do business. And that's another thing. Like, people don't give opportunities in business. Like, I don't think everybody realizes that business don't go right all the time.
Right.
So even if you investing in something, it ain't for sure it's gonna grow in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. You can really got to wait 5 years to see if your investment going to do anything.
Right.
And that was really a big problem, like starting out finding a location that was right, that fit what he needed to pay, that gave him enough space, that was up to code. But soul food vegan is just, man, it made a huge impact. I eat that. I'm like, bro, it's good.
Right.
We just sneak it to him like, yeah, I bought you something.
Right.
Man, it's good. What is it?
Yeah.
Soul food vegan. I knew it was something. Nah, you ain't know. You ain't know.
Right,
It
right,
was just great.
Right,
I
right.
told you it was vegan. But, you know, it just being able to give people, really, it's giving people a clear mind, a happier path, a better body, everything from the inside out. We want to, our gastrointestinal tract is connected to our brain, and our stomach has as many neurons as our mind,
Wow.
at least millions of neurons. So, you know, people say, I got a gut feeling. That's like, you really got a gut feeling because your stomach has the thoughts inside of it. And everything happens twice in the world, first in the mind or in the gut, and then in reality. So if we can create happy thoughts, if we can create like habits of a happy mind that boosts serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, and all of your endorphin levels, then we know that we can change your reality just by what you do.
Yes.
So we can make people do 30-day challenges, or just go eat once in a while and have a conversation with somebody that's in there that's vegan. Because the conversation you have at Soul Food Vegan ain't gonna be the conversation you have at Popeye.
It's not.
It's two totally different conversations. You know what I'm saying? It's like when we were talking about like college. The benefit of college to me was the networking. The benefit of eating at Soul Food Vegan is the networking.
I agree.
And you know, I love Soul Food Vegan, but yeah, that's my own boy.
Yeah.
Tremont Terry.
Shout out to Tremont. Yeah, I've been in once, I think, when we were at the Black Store with our friend Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Lloyd Ford. I'm sorry. Shout out to Lloyd, man. So, but yeah, man, how things are shifting, man. You can tell everybody is really jumping on this wave as far as healthy eating and stuff like that, man. So, what other ventures are you guys besides the what you said about earlier with the Key, which y'all teamed up with?
The creative co-working space.
Yeah.
Well, inside of the creative co-working space is actually going to be a cafe, a lounge, a shopping center, a podcast area, virtual studio, and a design studio. We can go and create any kind of graphics. They can go in there and put on virtual reality goggles and augmented reality and build out like buildings. It's just gonna be all in one maker's lab. So we can go in there and do everything.
Okay.
That's really my main focus right now because it's gonna cost me so much money to put together to outfit. But what else we got going on? Oh, we working with Texas home buyers, Tony B, and trying to get like real estate going where and the community can own property, but not just like a house or two, like apartment complexes and commercial land, so that we can always have wealth. And then we know we're gonna build it out in the trust. And then we're doing a credit repair program.
That's what's up.
With man, I can't even think of his little name. I just met him like 3 days ago. That's bad too. But it's through Unity as well.
Okay.
So now everybody that comes in, I had a bad credit score like a year ago, and I'm cool.
What do you consider bad?
To me, I was in five.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's not good.
I ain't good.
Right.
I didn't have nothing on my credit. I hadn't done nothing with it.
It's because you wasn't
It
utilizing.
was nothing. It was just nothing.
Right.
And but some student loans, right? So I'm gonna touch them. I might be at 700 actually right now. I don't know. Like the other day I was in the 680.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it still ain't nothing on it, but it's just the way that I handled it. And now that I'm actually gonna get stuff on it and add an authorized user, it's like I'm for sure I'm gonna be able to increase my access to capital to at least 50,000 whenever I want. So that's like imperative to me because I was doing everything with my money until recently. Like I spent my own money to the accounts, but I would know and I would even spend some credit or something.
Right.
But that's one thing that I think everybody needs to get on because I wasn't even that I knew the importance of it, but it wasn't nothing I was like, all right, I'm gonna pay attention to it. It was just like everybody talking about getting your credit right. And
it's funny you said that because brother Calvin, he wrote a book about credit. He was the first episode or whatnot. He mentioned about how our people don't really utilize credit for what it's for. You know what I mean? And so, but he said we're not supposed to use credit that's important. You know what I mean? But I told him I was gonna go use my credit to get some more podcast crew. He said it wasn't important, so I don't.
Man, we got a guy. His name is Marcus Barney. Him 500. This is my homeboy. He's from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
So he used his credit to help build other people credit through his cards. He's authorized use for other people, and he get the cards where you can have 10 different people on it.
Okay.
And each card, I think he charged $600 for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So off every card, he say each card make him 40 grand a year, and he got like 7 cards like that.
Wow.
So you're like, imagine if you got 2 credit cards just because you got good credit and you charging people to be authorized use on yours, you're making another 80 grand a month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean a year.
A year, right?
Who make 80 grand a year? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it just the way that you can leverage it is so good, and they give you real access to capital. Like they doing luxury rental car businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So he always gonna pull up in a Rolls Royce or Lamborghini, but he got 6 other cars that's being rented out the same day. So not only is you're gonna be able to live the life you want, but it's really gonna pay you to live the life you want. And we more financially invested in being poor than we are being rich. So we looking at everything as in a consumer mindset. When in actuality, if we strategize the right way, we can go get anything we want.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
That's been my goal. I mean, I'm also finna get we got I can't even think of the name of the little cars. They're like the little bitty smart cars, but it's cooked hot dogs on the back, so it's like the world's smallest food truck. You're gonna have like a hot dog stand, Cooper.
Vegan or it's gonna be red plate?
Vegan.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure, man.
Vegan hot dogs, $8 a pop.
Right.
The goal is to sell 50 a day.
Right.
The game.
That's not bad at all, man.
Yeah.
Gotcha, man. So you also we're gonna just let one ask about your book that you wrote.
I'm tripping.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, it's not even like a storybook where people can learn about my life or get an understanding. I got another book coming out called How to Find People That Think Like Me, but the one that I'm dropping right now is called Things to Do Before 30. It's a millennial's bucket list. Because a lot of the things like the places that you go, the scents that you smell affect your brain. And you can't open some cabinets in your mind without going someplace without seeing certain things.
You know, I'm thinking here, dude. No, I'm just deep. I heard some saying earlier.
But for real though, like going to Thailand, going to China, them is things that I know affected me. And I think, or even skydiving, or reading certain books. So I wanted to put, I probably got like 600 different things that I know I did before I turned 30. This was for my 30th birthday. I wanted to drop this. And it's like a checklist, and I'm telling people like, go do this. I went to music festivals, Coachella, concerts. It's like different things that I know. When you see that, you're not gonna think the same. So that's what this book is. It's about like actually living your life. So earlier when I said like I want to optimize my human experience to make the biggest impact, I want people to know everything that I did because this is what made me how I am.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Like I will say, I've been to Africa 3 times. Each trip was different, man. You know what I'm saying? And mind changing.
Mind changing, everything.
Everything. You know what I mean? So, but wow, I gotta get a copy, man. You know what I mean? So most definitely.
I got you.
You know, so man, like I said, I appreciate you coming on board. You know, this is like I say, you meet certain people for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like and I've never been a person that I haven't just gravitated to. You know what I'm saying? And that that I can learn something from. You know what I mean? So when I got back involved in the community, I noticed that there was a gap between the baby boomers, Generation X, and millennials. So this podcast is basically on close the gap, man. You know what I mean? So you part of that movement, brother. And I appreciate you, man. So So is there anything you want to say that you want to put out there as far as your social media hooks, everything? So,
I ain't gonna do my social media because they don't pay me, but I am gonna tell everybody to download my app Unity as well.
Gotcha.
And then I think everybody needs to just like optimize social media and human capital. The people that you know, actually put them to use. Like I tell people all the time, use me. I don't want it to sound bad. Like use me. Whatever you can get out of me, get it out of me. Because if I'm willing to keep it in me, that's what it's for.
Sure.
So just use the people around you. Leverage whatever technology that you have. Group chats is 20 years old. You better put them to use. I use group chats so much. Like you asked me earlier that I talk to Wiz. Like I can't help but talk to him because he's in our group chat.
Right.
Every day I'm gonna end up being in contact with most people because if we really on the same team, then we're gonna be in a group chat.
I agree. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So that being said, I'm utilizing my network by talking to Pop Darby. You know what I mean? So Y'all, this is Politically Street, Robert J. Anderson, the community ambassador.
Yeah.
And to,
I'm really politically straight too.
yes. You know what I mean? So with that being said, hey, y'all tune in. See y'all next time. Peace.